Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Richson, and today I'll be taking you through a session on the power of repeat. Repeat mastery is something that has helped many people to be able to gain momentum, to be able to do so many things in their lives. I believe in it because I've seen it work as a human resource director. Having worked across the world with so many people for so many years, I have seen how it works. And therefore, today, I just want to share some of the key pieces of advice that I've given so many people or I've seen work with people in terms of repeat mastery. Let's talk, for example, about goals. Yeah. When you set goals, and we keep focusing on goals. I set mine in January and I keep saying, oh, yes, it's going to work and whatever. And then I find that actually it doesn't because of 4 different problems. So winners and losers often have the same goals. And so it's not necessarily the real indicator of why we win or why we lose. We set the same goals. I can say, I want to lose weight, and somebody else can say they want to lose weight. We put the goals, I say we're starting in January. We start very well on the starting line. But then come February, one of us is losing focus, the other one is still going strong. Come April, one has actually met their target, the other one has totally left it and gone back to eating pizza. What happened? The achievement of a goal is just momentary change. Yeah. Sometimes you can hit the target, then you begin to want something else. It's always, I want a hill, I want a mountain, I want another challenge, I want to reach the sky. So setting goals is not really that thing that will help you repeat something over and over again. You will inevitably not meet most of your goals or all of your goals. So too much preoccupation with that goal can be mentally taxing. And therefore, it's so important that you look for something else. For me, I actually look for life and identity, a movement and elevation, rather than just setting a goal that probably I could get demotivated or different things could play in. Goals aim for a very specific accomplishment, but we need to think about sustained change, not just a specific accomplishment. This means goals are sometimes at odds with long-term progress. And if you become so preoccupied with your goals, you will not actually create a focus on sustained systems of change that actually work. Therefore, when we look at the human brain, it will make decisions with a 4-step process. It will receive a trigger to perform a certain action. It will create a craving to perform that action. It will respond to that craving, and it will receive a reward or consequence. At work, we always say, you set probably a policy or a practice, right? You require people to come and sign in using biometrics. When people are coming through the door, sometimes they forget, but then they realize they can't go in. So the door has punished them. But if they come in and they put their finger, they realize the door opens. So they are rewarded with the door opening. So they will repeat that consciously. And they'll tell themselves internally and externally, when you do this, this is the reward. So when you receive a reward, when the door opens, you're inclined to repeat that cycle every morning, every lunchtime, every evening. If you want to go in, if you want to get out, it's the biometric system and the finger, right? So when this is repeated over and over and over, you become a master at doing that. It's almost like waking up, brushing your teeth, putting on your clothes or bathing or whatever, and then you feel alert. So what you just think back and see what are the things and what are the things you do and what are the habits and what are some of the rewards that you get out of it. You need, when you want to become a repeat master, you need to look at the things that you want to repeat, make them obvious, make them attractive, make them easy, and make them satisfying. If a child wants to learn how to ride a bicycle, make it obvious that the bicycle is actually at the door, ride to school rather than, take the bus or something like that. Tell them as you ride to school, you're keeping fit, you're going to have stronger legs and everything. Make it easy. So, they have bike lanes and everything, so they can be safe and reach school on time. They get there faster. They don't have to wait for the bus and then make it rewarding by them seeing that those legs are actually becoming better. You can also invert this. You can, when you want to stop something from happening, make it invisible, make it unattractive, make it difficult, make it unsatisfactory or punitive at the end of the day. And then people are not going to repeat that thing. So, for example, I remember when I was starting off in my journey to become a PA, I went through training, typing, right? So when training to touch type, I was asked by my teacher to type and call out, type and call out, type and call out. So I had to say the letters aloud. ASDF, JKL semicolon, ASDF, JKL semicolon. I had to do that 100 times a day before they moved me from the home row key and took me to the upper level keys. And then I had to look at Q, W, E, R and know where those are and then come down to all the others. And this is how it became mechanical for me. The more I repeated, the more I practiced, the more I called out, there's something it did to my brain. And the faster I saw the words just coming up, on the paper. We were using a typewriter then, not computers. This was so satisfying and amazing, and I kept on doing it. And so years later, when each of my kids have turned, the age of 11, I put them on a laptop and I tell them, call out the letters. I show them the home row key and I say ASDF. And then once they start learning some of these letters, I say type DAD. So DAD, type SAD, SAD. And as they call out and type it, I see that after a few weeks, just like I did when I was younger, they've started becoming a repeat master on the keyboard. Knowledge acquisition is not equal to knowledge application. So it is very important that we understand that we need to be able to apply anything that we actually learn, so that once we are doing that application, it helps us to be able to go to the point where we can actually repeat. Yeah. And that repeat will really, really help us with doing some of the things that we want to do. So, and therefore, as I was saying, the more you learn, the more you practice, the more you actually embed that practice within it. So when you keep on applying what you have learned, this method is called implementation intention. And the more you see something and, you keep repeating and repeating, the more you know what will happen. So if I call out and I'm typing ASDF, I will learn how to type without having to look at the keyboard. And the more I saw that happen to me, the more I've asked other people that I'm teaching to actually do the same thing. So this becomes stickable. It's the stickability of this issue. Now, when we are looking at the environment really, really helps us to repeat. If you have the right environment, set on repeating what it is that you want to repeat, then it is easy to become a repeat master and to be able to win in that environment over and over. It is not so easy to fall back and to start making excuses of why you are doing something or why you are not able to do something. So for example, imagine you are a chef and you set up your environment in the right manner. You have the onions on one side and all the mise en place, the preparation of the dishes. On the other side, you have the actual utensils that you need. You have the sink right next to you. You want to speed up the time taken to make soup. So the first time you came, you had to walk to the store, you looked for an onion, you found 3, you know that you're looking for 5, you didn't find 5, so you came asking somebody and they don't have it, so you decide to actually order in, so it comes, the soup has already started, things are becoming messy, then the customers will complain. And they're like, first of all, so slow. Second of all, not everything was actually in the soup. It wasn't thick enough, it wasn't right enough, it wasn't tasty, it wasn't this, it wasn't that. You get that feedback. Now, the next time you decide, you know what, I found out I didn't have 5 onions. I only had 3. So this time I'm going to make sure I have 5. I will always have my 5 onions ready. So I go and check that I have the 5 onions and I check that I have all the other ingredients. Not only will I do that, I am not going to start walking to the pantry to look for these things. I am going to bring all the items and place them in the environment within which I'm working. So it eases the time taken for me to actually reach out to them. Then you find that you've worked with the ingredients and you've done so well, but you did not think about the tools. So you have everything put in here, you are ready to go, and then you realize, oh my goodness, I do not have a knife. You have the plates, you have the bowls, you have the whatever, you have the fire, you do not have the knife. Now you start looking around and it takes you 30 minutes to find a knife, or 15 minutes running around, shouting, doing whatever. Again, it also misses. So you need to ensure that you have everything. And probably you organize that these things are actually close to you. Master chefs have repeated it so much so that they know exactly what needs to be near them. They know the right element of fire that they require. They know the ingredients. They know the tools. They know the timing. I was actually told by someone when I was being taught how to bake about the right temperature for breaking my eggs, and why bakers used to wake up early in the morning and light up the fire from medieval times and make sure the kitchen is warm early in the morning. 4 a.m. you wake up and you're smelling the bread. And I'm sure if you walk in your local towns and you walk near a bakery, you can smell the fantastic smell that comes out of their kitchens early in the morning. In a heated kitchen, the right space, focus and everything, because it's a creative art. Otherwise, your bread will sink, the cakes will sink, everything will go the other way. And because they've repeated so many times, they've had eggs broken in the cold, and they've had eggs broken in the right heat, and they've had eggs broken outside and everything. And they know which ones work, which ones beat easier, which ones make fluffy cakes and things like that. So it is important for us not to fall back. We need to create a good environment, set it up for us to be able to repeat over and over. I started exercising sometime recently, and I actually always used to tell my coach, I'm going to fall out. I know I'm going to fall out. Something is going to happen. I start really well, but I don't know what happens along the journey. Maybe it's my work schedule. Maybe it's just my mindset. Maybe it's when I eat this or whatever. I just give up along the way. So he said, why don't you start by looking at your environment? And he said, you can take photos or you can take a video and show me your environment. And probably I might see things within that environment that are causing you not to be able to actually continue repeating the good things that you want to keep repeating to keep you on track. One of the first things he saw is that I kept my exercise equipment in the storage. The storage is at the very back of the house, invisible. I can't see it unless I'm going to the gym. My gym clothes were very few. I think I had 1 or 2 pairs. And again, if they were dirty, I would say, I'm not going to the gym today. I had great excuses based on the environment that I had created. The other thing is, apart from the clothes and the fact that I had too few of them, for somebody who's saying I'm serious about exercise, and I had a lot of clothes for all the other things, including my work clothes. He said, you need to get serious so that that excuse is killed. So anytime you're shopping for your normal clothes, please buy some clothes for exercise and good shoes and everything. So he also realized where I kept the equipment was too far. How I diarized it was early in the morning. I hate waking up in the morning. I mean, I'm doing this video in the evening because I love working in the evening. And so because I believed I have to do it first thing in the morning and everything, I always missed out. So he just made 3 changes. First, he asked me to put the gym time at the time I am most energetic and to squeeze in that time whenever I can, just like I prioritized, whether it's coaching or this or that or whatever. He taught me how to pack for the gym, including my clothes, my makeup, my gym gear, my business gear, so I can actually squeeze a session within the day. He asked me to ensure that I do a lot of my meetings in the same building where I go to the gym. So when I'm coming out for work, I'm also going into the same place. And the more I repeat this, the more it starts working for me. Within my home, I bought dumbbells, right? The weightlifting dumbbells. And so I had dumbbells in my bedroom. I have dumbbells in the living room. I have dumbbells. They are hidden, but they're somewhere near my environment. So even in the kitchen when I'm cooking, I know I have a dumbbell or two here and there. So I have no excuse to say, oh, I'm going to have to pull a box and look under the bed and find my dumbbells or whatever. No, I could actually be cooking, waiting for the soup to, cook and everything. And I'm doing my dumbbells, just like I used to practice for my speaking or any other thing that I was doing. And the more I did this, the more I repeated this and created an environment where it's easy to repeat the good things that I need to repeat. It worked for me. Then I looked at my nutrition, and I remember just looking at exchanging coffee with baobab powder, which has better nutritional value. And so all the time, every time I'm going to make a cup of coffee and I'm craving it and everything, I actually see my baobab powder in the coffee bottle or container. And so that's what I take. And I make that with milk and some honey, and I have it and I feel better. The more I repeat, the more I see it's doing great things for my system and whatever, the more I've made it available and the more I've put it in my environment, and I stop buying things like Coke and too much coffee and everything. I repeat that and I realize I'm actually becoming better and better at it in terms of my health. And therefore, repeat mastery also focuses on the environment you are in and the things that you're doing. So think about your environment and think, what are the things within my environment that would make me actually be able to do this or not be able to do it? Now, the other thing that helps us to become repeat masters is to look at the people around us. People affect our power to repeat immensely. Immensely. That's why I always tell people, show me your 5 friends, show me your phone book. Let me see the people you have called over and over on repeat for the last 3 months, and I will tell you who you are. So there are 3 groups of people who are most likely to influence you to repeat or not to repeat something. And therefore, if you want to look around and look at the people who've had huge impact on the things that you do today, the things that you repeat, whether you decide to wear formal dress to meetings or you are focused on wearing casual or whatever, you saw that on someone and that influenced you. Whether you are happy to wake up early in the morning and get to work, or you want to complain and be a couch potato, again, look at the people that you saw that actually influenced you to think that's the correct behavior or something. So if we want to look at the things that we repeat, we need to look at the people around us. Something I call the copy and paste mentality of humans. So the 3 types of people that you need to look at when you want to start repeat or stop repeat is, number 1, the first category is the trusted inner circle group. The trusted inner circle are those people you make close contact with regularly, you trust, you talk to, you share, intimate details. They know you. They could be from family, they could be best friends, they could be, in a partnership piece, or I don't know, just an inner circle community, the ones you have a drink with on Friday, or the ones you meet up for coffee, or the ones you hang out with, but you talk to them daily, if not almost daily. They are your trusted inner circle. When you see a habit, when you see something being repeated within this inner circle, if your inner circle, for instance, reads a lot, so you see them with books, they are constantly talking about the latest book, they're buying books, they're buying pens, they're loving it, they're discussing, they have a book club, they are constantly going to libraries, they're setting up meetings in a local library and everything, you become a reader. It's just very easy for you to continue being accepted and staying within this inner circle and being valued and trusted. You start behaving like them on repeat. So you buy a book. Next month, you buy a book. You repeat the same circle every month, every month. Before you know it, you have a library like everybody else in the inner circle. And that is how you start actually going on repeat based on what they're doing. If, on the other hand, you have an inner circle and they're always talking about partying, who's wearing which clothes, who is buying what, who is going to which party, who did this, who did that. It's always about the party, party, party. You end up repeating the same thing, even if it's going to drive you broke, but you're still party, because you want to stay in the inner circle. And those are the kinds of things that actually get you to repeat the wrong things, or what it could be right for you, right? But you find that you're repeating the same thing over and over and becoming a master on the wines, the clothes, the, people and whatever that you need in the party inner circle. The second category of people that actually can have the power to make you repeat is the group. The group culture. The group is a community, maybe where you come from or your parents come from. Something is done regularly. I was watching a certain movie, and in the movie, an Indian girl was getting married to a British gentleman, and the Indian girl was having, her hands, and I don't know, they call it handi or something, pasted on her hands, very beautiful and everything. And they were telling her, this is tradition. This is what our community does for girls when they are going to actually get married and everything. And they were asking, and where do you think my husband to be is? They were like, probably he is also doing his own traditions that are done on the last day before getting married. So culture can affect our collective habits, can affect what we keep on repeating, whether we understand the value or not. I like talking about the slab story, and the story goes about an army, went somewhere, they were sent somewhere, and they went and created a slab because they wanted to dance overnight. And so they decided to guard that slab and make sure that, the general told them, guard it and ensure no animals step on it or anything. And so they guarded it. But overnight, something happened, and I think the general either died or had to move and forgot to tell these people to stop guarding the slab. Now, years and years later, somebody came and found this behavior is still happening. They repeat it every night and every morning. 4 people of the best talent within the army stand guard on this slab, a slab that was supposed to be a dance floor. Nobody remembered to stop that repeat. The group, the collective habit had formed and been validated and accepted as part of the culture within that space. So every new general that came there just repeated without asking. Send 4 people. Excuse me, sir, we need 4 people to guard the slab. No one asked why you're guarding the slab or what is the slab or whatever. So people stood guard over that slab, and it was supposed to be a dancing slab. So one person came, and they say one day just asked, why? Why do I have to, or why do 4 people, my top men, have to stand guard on the slab? And that is when people started looking around and they found out the truth of the story. And oh my goodness, can you imagine how they felt, having wasted resources, time, and energy all those years, night and day, even putting some of these people in danger, guarding that slab through the night. So what does that story show us? The power of a group mentality, of not questioning the things that we repeat, of asking ourselves, where did we learn that thing that we do over and over? Who said? And for me, I really, really struggled. When I visited other cultures, and I have a brother of mine who eats rice and chicken as breakfast. And I'm like, people have tea and coffee and bread as breakfast. If you want meat in the morning, it's bacon or sausages or something like that. Rice and meat. You wake up in the morning and that's what you eat, and he's repeated that over and over. And he's like, that's what he needs for the energy that he requires for his job. But I'm still stuck on the group. I've been taught we have cereals, we have, tea, coffee, or something like that for breakfast. And where did that come? Where did that influence come from? It is from the group, the cultures from within which I've been brought up. The third category of people that can make you repeat immensely is the powerful influencers. Those people who are out there, they are commonly desired. People want their life. People want what they are doing. People say, I'll have what she's having. I'll have what he's having. Oh, wow. He came out. Did you see the way he wore his hair? So he was wearing his hair, covering one eye. Everybody the next week starts wearing their hair, covering one eye and everything. Oh my God. So their success can possess others and encourage them to imitate without even thinking and everything. And you repeat and repeat and repeat until you almost want to identify and be that person. You know, if they are wearing long skirts that are sweeping the floor, or they're wearing socks and slippers or whatever, everybody starts doing it and repeating it and repeating it. And you become masters at that, you know, behavior or whatever, because you've picked it up from the powerful influencers, especially people that you admire and other people, a large group of people also admire, or people that have said, this is exactly what you do, like the biometric story. If you go into an organization and you're told even the CEO has a biometrics and uses biometrics to enter that room, you will do it, whether you like it or not. Rarely do we question. And therefore, again, these are the types of people that can have the power to influence you to be on repeat. Repeat mastery can really help with many things. However, we have to understand that repeat mastery is not formed based on the time or tenure you've been doing something, but rather it's based on the frequency within which you've been doing it. So if you want to become a master at probably creating slides in your office, so your boss has asked you to create slides, and probably you've done 2 slides a month, every month for the last year. So 12 months, let's say, or if you're working 11 months times 2, that would be 22 times you've done slides. While somebody else in that same office is pushed for slides all the time. So they need to come up with slides daily, sometimes twice a day or whatever. So in a week, they've done the same amount of slides that you've done in a year. So the more they repeat, the better they get at it. The more they repeat, the better they get at it. So you might find that you have 21 years experience sitting in the office and doing slides, and you're focused on talking about tenure in terms of your experience, but then this other person has mastery of repeat and probably can produce faster, better, simpler, and on context, based on their experience, based on the frequency within which they've done those slides. They've come to understand, you know, what it takes to do this or to do that and whatever. So if you look at the fact that they are doing probably 22 in a week, sets of slides and everything, how much is that in a month? How much is that in a year? In a year, they'll be doing what probably you were doing in 5 years. So the point again is, when we're looking at repeat mastery, it's not an issue of looking and focusing on the tenure, but rather on the frequency. For me, when I'm hiring, I always say those who know what get the job, but those who know how get the job done. And people who get the job done have understood the power and the mastery behind repeat. They have done it. And so my questions are, have you done it? And show me that you've done it. And so when I time out an assessment, when I ask you to do it in different perspectives, when I look at the speed within, it will show me the frequency within which you have done this thing. I will ask you the same question probably in several contexts. And the more you can swing and talk to me about the different contexts where you've had to do this type of work, then it shows me you know how, not you know what. So it's very, very important, again, to ensure that you are looking at the frequency. They say the 10,000 hour rules. So that is where you gain your mastery. How many hours have you been doing what you're doing, and how frequently? Repeating something helps you simplify that thing, helps you speed up that task, helps you understand where the wastage is and everything. And that is why it's important. And therefore, for you to become a repeat master, it is important for you to understand the relationship between repeat and reward. Oh my goodness, this is the best. As we're coming to a close, I want you to think about the things that you want to repeat and become a master in based on repeating them. Tell yourself about the benefits. So for instance, for me saying, I need stronger legs. I'm a trainer. I'm constantly doing from 2 to 7 hour trainings and everything. So I need strong legs. So if I'm going to keep on going to the gym and strengthening my legs, going on repeat, using my dumbbells, strengthening the body and everything, I'm going to have the benefit of being able to train without leaning and ouch and oh my gosh, I'm hurting and you know everything just feeling like I want to sleep. I can work on my strength, repeat that, see the benefits. I walk off, and this literally happened. My team told me, Sarah, you just walked off the stage. Like, you're some 20-something-year-old. And I was like, wow, yes. Because I've been repeating the strength training that I've been doing. Tell yourself what the benefits are. So I told myself what the benefits are, and that's why I went into the process and repeated it over and over. Then feel and believe those benefits. So me walking off that stage and not having to bend and, as usual, go and lie down for how many hours? I can't even go to the dining room to eat or anything because I am hurting everywhere. Feeling that I'm not hurting anymore has helped me to feel and believe the benefits of my repeating an action. Then rewarding myself. So go out and reward yourself as you enjoy those benefits. So how do you reward yourself? You're like, oh, wow, because I've become such a master, I have more time to myself. I mean, when I go back to looking at when I used to develop content and slides and whatever, it used to take me 2 weeks reading the same 2 slides and wondering what to say in the 3rd slide and whatever, researching and over-researching, analysis and analysis paralysis over my content when I was building my speaker days and everything. But nowadays, I mean, I can sit on my content in a day and really understand what I'm doing in the next few weeks and pull it all together, be dynamic about it, have more time. I'm not spending 2 weeks. My kids, my husband, everybody's calling me and I'm like, no, I'm working on content. Now they know she has a content day. And if she spends that time, it's less time than she used to, she will be able to focus and complete it. Repeat helps you with less wastage. Repeat helps you with expert skills. When you start being called an expert bike rider, or an expert chef, or an expert, PowerPoint, wizard or whatever, how cool is that? Just that word, right? It's so rewarding. Repeat gets you recognition. I didn't know my typing skills was so on point until people started recognizing, including my fellow directors. They're like, wow, we're not like Sarah. I mean, she will get it right. She's accurate. She's quick. She's whatever. Whether her PA is there or not, she will deliver for herself. I started getting recognition for those skills that I'd repeated since the age of 13 and never thought they're actually that powerful in terms of what I'm supposed to deliver. Repeat helps you elevate yourself. It helps you elevate, where you're going and elevate your personal brand and your positioning in very many ways, even at the workplace. And that is why I just felt that this year, let us all wake up and say, I want to understand and use the power of repeat. So whatever good thing you're repeating that is reaping good results for you out there, please continue repeating it. Please ensure that you understand the benefits and you use some of the tips that I've given you today to ensure that you repeat. Look at the environment, look at the people that are influencing, look at the culture, look at your mindset, look at the item itself and the process that you're using. Don't focus just on goals, but rather look at transforming your life using the power and mastery of repeat. Thank you so much.